The remnants of Israel who saw the suffering, who experienced the atrocities.
It is no wonder that when the doors of immigration opened, hundreds of thousands of Jews who could never afford to pay for such a trip prayed to one day reach Israel.
But many of us are concerned that the doors of immigration could close any day. This is a great fear that I and others have. As Jews continue to leave the former Soviet Union, it is critical that we work and that we pray and that we act while the doors of immigration are open.
Fear is increasing that the door to Jewish immigration may once again close due to current instability and problems confronting the republics of the former Soviet Union. The purpose of this program is to not only raise the necessary funds to rescue as many Jews as possible, but to encourage Christians to pray that the door remains open.
There is a Jewish tradition that he who saves one life is as if he saved an entire world. Indeed, many of you may be familiar with that phrase of Jewish tradition from the movie about the life of Oskar Schindler, and how those he rescued engraved that phrase onto a ring that they made with the gold in their teeth, and they gave it to Schindler as a token of their appreciation for saving their lives. Well, today we have an opportunity quite different indeed, but still an opportunity to save Jewish lives.
God has opened the door to bring the scattered children of Israel home through On Wings of Eagles.
A gift of only $350 will help airlift one Jew from the former Soviet Union to safety in Israel.
A married couple can be airlifted for only $700, and a family of four for $1,400.
Whatever you can give, no matter how small, will help to make possible a new life for a Jew who is waiting and desperate to be free of persecution.
Become part of a modern-day prophetic miracle with your call now.
For $350, you can help sponsor a Jew from the former Soviet Union and bring them here to Israel. And with that gift, we will send you a postcard with the name of a person that you sponsored, or family, or couple that you helped bring here to freedom, to the land of opportunity and hope.
We here at Cornerstone Church and John Hagee Ministries with great joy give to bring the Jewish people from around the earth back to Israel.
Jewish people of the Soviet Union need your help and mine right now. We can be part of this. God is unfolding his prophetic plan in our lifetime. The children of Israel are returning to the promised land.
Soviet citizens here live in very crowded conditions, very cramped quarters, in big apartment buildings, and the neighbors are always listening. The neighbors are always watching.
When I was growing up, my mother had to close the shutters and draw the curtains before she lit Sabbath candles.
There's always somebody who's going to whisper to the authorities that so-and-so is observing the Jewish holidays, and then this person's going to get in trouble.
I remember that at the age of 5 or 6 years old, I did not want to be Jewish because it was a shame. It was a hate name, a curse. Just being called a Jew was a curse.
I worry because I know what the life of the elderly people is there, not only because of the anti-Semitism, but economically. It's impossible to live there.
They have no money for food, any money for things.
Let my people go.
The governments of the former Soviet Union teeter at their inability to bring order, and the Jews who have been the scapegoats for the ills of Russian society are the ones who suffer the most.
People who worked their entire lives and saved money, and it all just disappeared. The government promised to return the money, but it never did.
$350 sounds like so little to many of us.
Let my people go.
But for tens of thousands of Jews in the former Soviet Union, $350 is an impossible sum of money.
Hope is fading that they will ever be able to save enough to leave the persecution they have endured for too long before the door closes again.
let my people go.
Her father had a dream. Her father also dreamed of coming, but he didn't make it. He died beforehand.
By showing the love of Christ, Christians can help erase the pain of decades of suffering and persecution.
The International Fellowship of Christians and Jews makes it possible for a Jew to return home at the low cost of $350 per person. By partnering with the Jewish Agency for Israel and the worldwide Jewish community, you can be assured that your gift will be used in the most cost-effective manner possible.
With the spread of terrorism and the rise of radical Islam throughout the world, it's a very different world we live in today. And it's different, too, for the remnants of Israel still living in the former Soviet Union and in Muslim lands, and whose lives are at risk. There are many of us who believe that the situation today is very similar to the way it was in the 1930s. The question is whether we see it coming. But God forbid that we had the opportunity to care for these people. But by the time we realized the nature of the crisis, it was too late.
Swastika. The nightmare of the Holocaust is still fresh in the minds of those who know the depth of mankind's brutality.
Her two sisters, hung on the gallows, had to dig their own grave.
Those who escaped certain death from the Nazis were rewarded with the bitter, sad reality of exile to communist Russia and to the Siberian gulags. The brutal power of the Red Empire tried to destroy any and everything Jewish. Today, Jews see the revival of the iron hand of Russian repression and its leader Putin seeming to return to his KGB roots. The desperate search for long-lost Jews is happening right now in the bitter, cold expanse of Siberia.
Hallo, shalom. Das nicht kann vergessen.
Seeking out God's lost remnant in a land as vast as the United States and Canada combined. Every village, every house, this holy quest of Christians and Jews partnering together while there is still time.
We came to visit Anna and her husband Valerie.
36 лет прожили, он меня ни разу не ударил.
We came to visit them. We drove hours to get here because we had just discovered that they were in need. And there are only 4 Jews here in this village in Siberia, and we came with our food packages for them and just learned that we came 2 days late. Her husband died 2 days ago. And it just reminded me of the irony and the tragedy of the thousands of other Jews out there in Siberia, in this vast land, who were discovering too late. And I just urge us all to do even more so that we find these people in the last years of their life as the clock is ticking away before it is too late.
2,000 years ago, the Bible foretold that Jews would be suffering in the land of the north.
And 2,000 years ago, the Bible also foretold an exodus to Israel that would be greater than the exodus Moses led out of the land of Egypt.
For only $350, you can help airlift one desperate Jew to safety and freedom in the Holy Land of Israel. $700 will pay for a needy married couple and $1,400 for a family of 4.